السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله تعالى من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. إنه من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. So inshallah we are going to continue with Tafseer Surah Al-Taghabun. We finished the last 11 ayah of this surah. The last few ayat were talking about the Tawheed, the trust, the certainty, and having the belief system of Al-Qadr. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He told us that every single thing in this dunya happens, has been already decreed, right? So there is no any reason for us to lose hope or think that something else could have happened. ما أصاب من مصيبة إلا بإذن الله. Live this verse. Live this verse. Every single disaster, happened and happens by Allah's leave. But Allah's leave, Allah's permission. بإذن الله. And when we say permission here means what? The taqdeer al-kawni, the permission of Allah for it to come into existence. Not the permission because it's permissible, legal, forget the word legal, permissible or something desirable. Doesn't mean that. Permissible means what? The permission means what here? Al-Idhn al-Kawni, like the permission from Allah for it to exist. You get it? Whether Allah likes or not. Not like, I give you a permission means I approve it. I'm okay with it. I like it. No, it's not like that. There's a permission. The idhn is of two types. The first type of idhn is the kawni. Kawni means what? The idhn which actually allows things to come into existence, whether Allah likes or not. The Muslim creating Iblis. It's a musibah because Iblis now has been actually set to be a test for us. He's been created to be a test for us, right? And giving him long life, right? So ما أصاب من مصيبة إلا بإذن الله. And also the other masaib that a believer faces in his life, right? It's also by Allah's permission. So that actually will bring to you peace, right? You wouldn't say, okay, if I had done such thing, or this musibah wouldn't have happened. No, right? You can say, if I just have taken the other road and have taken the highway, okay, the disaster will. No. So Allah has decreed for this to happen. And the other verse mentioned in Surah Al-Hadid that ما أصاب من مصيبة في الأرض ولا في أنفسكم إلا في كتاب من قبل أن نبرأها. Allah mentioned three things are pertaining to everything, single musibah. He said there is no single musibah, whether on earth or in yourself, whether we're on earth in general, the public masa'ib, or the personal masa'ib. إلا في كتاب, another verse of the hadith, Allah says it's written in a record before we created. So it, the pronoun it, some scholars said refers to before we create the earth. And some said before we create the musibah itself. And some say before we create the souls of human beings. So three things. And the most correct view is this dhamir, this pronoun, refers to all of these things. So every single musibah, every single thing happens, right? After Allah has created this earth. So it happened, it has been decreed before Allah has created the earth, and before the creation of the disaster itself, and before the creation of the human beings. Right? Subhanallah. That's why the next verse says what? لكي لا تأسوا على ما فاتكم ولا تفرحوا بما آتاكم. So that you may not get disappointed if you missed something. What I have missed wasn't meant to be for me. Right? What you have missed wasn't even meant to be given to you. Right? ولا تفرحوا بما آتاكم. And then actually don't be over joyful. Yani don't get what you call, don't be euphoric. I know the euphoria. Yeah, I did it. No, you didn't do it. It's not you. Allah has already made it for you. It's meant to be for you. Yani you are intelligent. You studied, or it's meant to be for you, man. Don't be proud of yourself. I mean, in this sense, right? Don't have pride, no pride and arrogance. Right? Be humble. You know, my achievements are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is actually not your achievement. This is the things Allah has already decreed for you to be given. Right? You deserve it or not. You see some people, they are very dumb and they have a lot of money, right? Seen them? And some people, they are great scholars. Allah Azim, great scholars, knowledgeable people, intelligent, and they don't have food to eat. Right or wrong? And those who deserve to be in jail, they are ruling people. And they have done heinous crimes. They have done heinous crimes. And they killed them. Actually, the prisons are made for them. Right? And those who are spreading peace and justice in the land, they are in jail. So, after all, we can say it's actually myself. So Allah mentioned this verse in the Quran just to teach us, right? Khalas, have this certainty. Allah says, Allahu la ilaha illahu wa ala Allahi falyatawakkal al-mu'minun. After I said, wa ati'u Allah. So what should I do, oh Allah? After I know that, obey Allah and obey His Messenger. Obey Allah and khalas, al-Quran was Sunnah. Al-Quran was Sunnah. Obey Allah and obey His Messenger, right? And don't care about anything else. Allahu la ilaha illahu, and Allah is the only God. This is Tawheed, the monotheism. The monotheism is to single Allah out. Tawheed asma wa sifat. Tawheed uluhiyya, Tawheed rububiyyah. We mentioned Tawheed has 3 categories. Right? Tawheed uluhiyya, rububiyyah, as I mentioned that, right? Tawheed uluhiyya, to single Allah out in your actions, with your actions. To worship Allah alone. You worship Allah alone, right? You fear from Him only, right? You ask Him, you make dua, you ask Him in your dua, right? Only, right? You slaughter from Him Qurban and the dhabiha only for Him, right? So you pray only for Him. So you love Him, the love of ibadah, only Him subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, to single Allah out with His actions, to believe now, to believe He's the only creator, He's the only provider, He's the only one who is worthy to be worshipped, He's the only one who is worthy to legislate for you, and to judge, and to give you laws, right? This is Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, to believe in that. Who is the legislator? Allah. Who is the one who has the right to say to you, this is right, this is wrong? Allah. This is halal, this is haram? Allah only, not Allah and somebody else. Right? So that's why we say those who actually go in their judgment and in their cases against others to the man-made laws, they actually go against Tawheed. Tawheed. It's not minor sins. We're not talking about minor sin. But Tawheed, Tawheed or Shirk. Right? Those who do believe in that. They believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? He's not the only one who has the right to legislate. No, we can actually regulate our life based on our own laws, minds. Subhanallah. And they say, no, it's okay. I know Quran says something, but there is something else can be also said. Right? But other constitutions, other laws, so ridiculous. And this actually goes against the Tawheed. People think Tawheed just to say La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah, and they to understand the meaning of La ilaha illallah, the requirements of La ilaha illallah, how to implement La ilaha illallah. So this is not right. Right? So Allah La ilaha illahu includes Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah, Tawheed al-Asma' wal-Sifat. The names and qualities, the attributes of Allah Azza wa Jal are exclusive right for Him. That's why we always say, guys, when you choose any name, make sure it is not one of Allah's names, which are exclusive names to Allah Azza wa Jal. Don't say, oh, what's your name? My name is Allah. Astaghfirullah. No. This is only the name of our Lord Allah, or Rahman. Don't say, Ar-Rahman. No. Yes. Abdul Rahman means slave of Ar-Rahman. Abdul means what? Slave of. Somebody asked me, what should say my name? My first name is Abdul. What Abdul? Your first name is Abdul? Yeah. What's the second name? Rahman. So how? Or the last name is Rahman. How? How the first name is Abdul? Abdul means what? Nothing. Abdul means slave of. Imagine you say, I'm the slave of. And you stop. Okay, continue, man. Or what? Why did you stop here? Doesn't make any sense, right? So Abdul. No, Abdul means what? Nothing. Abdullah is a name. One name, Abdullah. Abdul Malik, one name. Abdul Rahim, one name. One name. Abdullah, Abdul Rahman. قل ادعوا الله أو ادعوا الرحمن. قل ادعوا الله أو ادعوا الرحمن. أيما تدعو فله الأسماء الحسنى. Right? So say and ask Allah or ask Ar-Rahman. Both of these two names are belonging to Allah Azza wa Jalla. So who is Allah? He is Ar-Rahman, right? So we have to understand that, right? So these is the names of Allah Azza wa Jalla, and Allah laysa kamithlihi shay. So this verse actually includes Tawheed. That's why وَعَلَى اللَّهِ فَلْيَتَوَكَّلِ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Let the believers on Allah trust. On Allah put their trust. On Allah first, right? And then the verse of today, Allah speaks about verse number 9. Sorry, verse number 14 here. Verse number 14. We finished verse number 13 last time. Verse number 14 in Surah Al-Taghabun, Allah said, and listen carefully these verses. Verse number 14 and verse number 15. He says, يا أيها الذين آمنوا إن من أزواجكم وأولادكم عدوا لكم فاحذروهم وإن تعفوا وتصفحوا وتغفروا فإن الله غفور رحيم. Allah, beautiful. And then إنما أموالكم وأولادكم فتنة والله عنده أجر عظيم فاتقوا الله ما استطعتم واسمعوا وأطيعوا وأنفقوا خيرا لأنفسكم ومن يوق شح نفسه فأولئك هم المفلحون. Verse number 14 speaks about what? Verse literally means, O you who believe, verily among your wives and your children, there are enemies for you. Simple. Therefore, beware of them. What? Beware of them. Have you ever heard that? Among your wives. Wives, because you can marry more than one, right? So among your wives. If you marry 4, among your wives and your children. And your children. There are enemies for you. Therefore, beware of them. Therefore, beware of them. Subhanallah. But if you pardon them and overlook and forgive, then verily Allah is oft forgiving, most merciful. And then the next verse, your wealth and your children are only a fitna. Your wealth and your children, but he didn't say it's a fitna. Are only a fitna. He said it's a fitna. No. Or they are fitna. No. Are only a fitna. Whereas Allah, with him is a great reward. So have taqwa of Allah as much as you can. Listen and obey and spend in charity, and that is better for yourself. And whosoever is saved from his own greed, then they are the successful ones. Subhanallah. So Allah states that some wives and children are enemies to their husbands and fathers. Ibn Kathir Allah said that. He said, and that they might be busy, these husbands, they might get busy with them rather than with performing the good deeds. So look at the nature of enmity here. Not because the wife is going to kill her husband, or she's going to put poison in the food. No. Because she would distract him from obeying Allah Azza wa Jalla. That's why Allah said in the Quran, O you who have believed, let your properties or your children divert you. Let not. Don't let, never allow for your properties and for your children to divert you, right, from the remembrance of Allah. And whosoever does that, then they are the losers. Look at the loss here. The kind of loss, kind of definitions we need to actually understand, Allah. Although we need to break down these words and to understand and to give the right definition to the right, the right meaning to the right words. Allah said, فَاحْذَرُوهُمْ, therefore beware of them. Means for your religion. According to Ibn Zayd, Mujahid explained the ayah. And he said, that they might direct the man to serve his religion or disobey his Lord. To sever. They might direct the man to sever his religion. A wife might be a reason for a husband to boycott his family, to sever his relations, right? Or disobey his Lord. The man who loves his wives and the children might obey them in this case. So be aware of your love. You have to love Islamically. Don't go beyond the limits of Allah when you love. Right? So you might love something too much. Too much. You might love your wife too much. So whatever she asks you to do, blindly you go and do it. Whether it's right, wrong, haram, halal. One day a person came to me and said, you know what? I do want to buy a house on mortgage because I know it's haram. I said, Jazakallah, but. And what's after but? It's a disaster. But what? But I cannot resist. What? My wife. Why? He loves her. And she wants to get a house, to own a house. She wants to be a queen. He doesn't care to be a king, but she wants to be a queen. What should I do? I said, don't do it. Allah gave him steadfastness for a while. Eventually he succumbed. And he couldn't actually make it. He couldn't make it, so he did what? He bought the house. And he thought he made it. He didn't make it. He didn't make it. He couldn't actually be patient. Right? خلاص. So, فَاحْذَرُوهُمْ. You need somebody to strengthen your iman. The verse talks about iman here. So your real enemy is the one who doesn't invite you to the masjid. This is the real enemy. The one who doesn't want you to come and pray. Real enemy. Right? The one who doesn't actually care about your iman. He doesn't care about your belief. He doesn't care about your relationship with Allah. He doesn't care about your relationship with your family. It means to be good, to have a good relationship with your family. Right? And he doesn't care about anything might help you get close to Allah Azza wa Jalla. He doesn't care. And the real friend is one who does all of these things. Even if he's not a funny person, or he doesn't actually have a sense of humor, right? But he cares about your iman. He's a real friend. He's a real friend. Other people, that they're not friends. Those who actually, if you just hang out with somebody, he calls you, let's go and play, let's go. He's not your friend. You just come to your home, he goes to your home, you just do chit chat, drink tea. Oh, don't say it. Or just, or eat cakes, right? Eat cake or drink. Yeah. This is not your friends. When they hear adhan is going on, and they keep on doing whatever they do, neglecting Allah Azza wa Jalla. They're not friends. So Allah said, فَحْذَرُوا. There are enemies. Here again, what is the definition of enemy? Who is my enemy? I have to know that, right? The one who gives you a sincere advice to correct you. He's not your enemy, by the way. He's actually your friend. He wants to actually, help you to make it to Jannah. Right? So if you actually make it to Jannah, imagine that somebody keeps on telling, brother, come to pray. Well, that's haram to eat and consume riba and do haram and this and that. And he keeps on giving you a sincere advice, right? Privately, politely, with a good way. And eventually you listen to him and you make it to Jannah. What would you do when you enter Jannah if you see him? You would say, man, you made my life difficult, man. Wallahi, my life was so difficult because of you. You made my life miserable. Yeah, yes, I made it in Jannah. I have Hur'in over there waiting for me, by the way, right? I don't have time to do. But you wouldn't even remember the dunya, right? Like now we say, Sheikh, you make our life so hard and difficult and miserable and this and that because you don't see Jannah. They don't even see Jannah, right? Do they see? No, they don't see Jannah. So they think this is their Jannah and you want to take it from them. Wallahi, subhanallah. So a person said, insurance for, let me just, say it. He said, you know what, to have a full insurance. It's an option, right? It's an option, right? It's not something must, right? So he said, okay, so and so of the scholars, he said, no, it's not right. To have full insurance, it's only liability, because full insurance is against Islam and this and that. Okay, so how and this and that? And he was like, no, think about this point too much. Now, you're telling him to do something, it might be difficult, right? He won't actually get everything in this dunya. Huh? Okay. And so on and so forth. Many different examples in our life, but I want you to conjure up your mind. Now you are in Jannah, what would you think about these things? Nothing, very trivial, man. A house in dunya? Huh, what is that? It's like, what do you call it? What do you call it? The kids play with it. Lego. Like, this Lego, man. In Jannah would be, wallahi, in Jannah you would be now almost 40 meters height in the sky. And imagine 60 arms. This is hadith. 60 arms. 60 arms, your length as a human, right? How would be the door of your palace? Like this? Huh? It's legal for you. Huh? It's like play, right? SubhanAllah, so nothing. There's no actually thing to be mentioned even. So, beware of them. Beware of these enemies. Your wives, your children. They don't even care about your iman. So you have to remind them to. So that this verse teaches us to love Allah. Tawheed first. Tawheed comes first. Love Allah first before you love anybody else. Before you love even your son and your kids and your wives, right? Before you love anybody, right? SubhanAllah. Before you love your tribe, culture. People now fight for their culture, fight for their tribes, fight. Oh, he is from my tribe. Allah says your wife, man, your children, not enemies. Not your tribe, give me a break, What is it? The verse mentioned the closest ones to you, who eat with you every day, the wife, sleep with you every day. Allah said, don't even beware of them. Yes, you talk about your tribe. He's from his tribe. Oh, he's from the same ethnicity. SubhanAllah, very weak mind. Allah said, فَاحْذَرُوهُمْ. And then He mentioned a reason for this verse. Why did Allah reveal this verse? Listen, you will appreciate now, right? You will appreciate these few moments that you have. Listen to this reason, that it will be amazing to know the reason behind this verse, to appreciate the significance of knowledge. Let me just read what he said here. He said, there were men who embraced Islam in Mecca. Who did what? Embraced Islam, became Muslims in Mecca, and wanted to migrate to Allah's Messenger, to go where? Medina, right? Okay, however, so they accepted Islam, became Muslims, and they intended to migrate. However, their wives and children refused to allow them. Didn't force by force them. No, didn't force them. Refused, please stay here. We are established here. We have our own properties, gas stations close to us. The neighborhood is beautiful. The school is, mashallah, close to us, right? Don't go, please don't go. Of course, don't go to Medina. Everything here is established. The gardens are here, right? Everything is here, man. Why should we go to Al-Medina and to start from zero? Start from scratch. Begin from scratch, right? Al-Medina, poor. No property, not even homeless. They wouldn't go to Medina to find hotels 5 stars over there. Medina, waiting for them 5-star hotel, right? They go there, nothing. Medina, from Mecca to Medina, nothing. What are you going to do over there? So you wouldn't be able to even sell your house in Mecca. And the Sahaba didn't sell their houses. Let me just sell my house at Mecca. Abu Jahl, you wanna buy my house? I wanna go. No. Abu Jahl actually he took the house right by force. So they lost their houses. They lost their properties. I want you just to imagine, just to know how significant the hijrah was. Hijrah meant not like we do sometimes. I want to move from this city to another city. So you would do it. You would sell even every single needle and take the money and go. So you wouldn't lose anything. I make an announcement, Facebook Marketplace, and just go and sell everything. Man, khalas, alhamdulillah. I have the same thing. Just, you know what? I would lose the grocery man that I used to go and buy from him. That's it. This is actually your sacrifice. But back then, sacrifice was to lose everything. The properties, everything would be lost. Right? Even the house of the Prophet Muhammad was taken by the mushrikeen. They occupied their houses. Right? So, that's why he didn't wanna, the wife said, okay, look, my honey, you wanna go and leave us and take us from here and go to Al-Madinah, another state, and just, start from scratch? No, please stay here. Let's make some, So they refused to allow them. Later on, they joined Allah's Messenger. But after they lost a lot, what kind of loss they have lost? You know what? They found that after they migrated later on, they found that those who were with him, with the Prophet Muhammad from the Sahaba, who already migrated earlier, have gained knowledge in the religion. This is the reason. Wallahi, this is what he mentioned, and this is the story, and this is the authentic narration. They found out those Sahaba who migrate earlier at the beginning, right? They have gained more knowledge because they stay with the Prophet Muhammad. They listen to him. They learn the deen of Allah. How many hadith, or how many Quran, how many verses. They lived Islam there beside the Prophet Muhammad. The source of purification, the source of knowledge, the source of ilm, right? So they went there, okay, and they realized the Sahaba who migrated before them, they became scholars. Look. So they did what? They were about to punish their wives and the children. Look at this. They were about to punish their wives and children. You were the reasons for us to lose. To lose what? Money? No. To lose knowledge. Nowadays, people, who cares? I lost it. Not a big deal, man. Not a big deal. Look to the actually Sahaba, right? How they viewed the knowledge, how they viewed the ilm, right? Subhanallah. So they were about to punish their wives and their children. You were the reason for us to lose knowledge. You kept us away from not now from iman and from salah and from ibadat and from the obligations. No, from knowledge. And Allah revealed verses to speak about this situation. Yes, to let you open your mind, man. If you lost money, you haven't lost, by the way. Did Allah mention the money and losing money and loss? No. Those who migrated, did they go back to their wives and said, oh, we have lost money? No. Allah didn't mention that. But when you lose knowledge, now you actually have lost. So, when you're about to punish them, Allah continued the verse and said, but if you pardon them, khalas, forgive them. وَإِن تَعْفُوا وَتَصْفَحُوا وَتَغْفِرُوا فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. If you pardon and overlook and forgive them, verily Allah is oft forgiven, most merciful. Khalas, forgive them. Forgive them. Yeah? Forgive them. So they have done a crime which required to be forgiven? Yes. They have done something wrong? Yes. They were a reason for you to lose something? Yes. And they needed to forgive them. Subhanallah. And then Allah said, the next verse number 15, listen, again. إنما أموالكم وأولادكم فتنة والله عنده أجر عظيم. Indeed, your wealth and your children are, listen, are only a fitna. Only. And the word only here is very important. إنما أداة حصر وقصر. إنما أداة حصر وقصر. When ما إن, it's for emphasis, توكيد, right? When ما comes after inna, that will make it an exclusive way. The exclusiveness here is meant. إنما وليكم الله. إنما just only your kids, your wealth and your children are only a fitna. We're going to talk about the word fitna here. Fitna, word fitna means what?
Negative connotation.
It's of course a negative connotation. Of course. Fitna, anywhere you hear the word fitna has many meanings, by the way. Fitna can be a test. Can mean a test. Right? That you don't know the result of it yet. Or can mean the test that a person has already failed to pass. This is also fitna, right? But fitna has categories. And the worst category of the fitna is shirk. قال أحمد بن حنبل رحمه الله, Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, talking about the verse of Allah in Surah الشعراء, فليحذر الذين يخالفون عن أمره أن سورة النور, فليحذر الذين يخالفون عن أمره أن تصيبهم فتنة أو يصيبهم عذاب أليم. Listen to these verses in Surah An-Nur, the second to last. Let those who stay away from the obedience of the Messenger of Allah beware that a fitna might inflict them or a painful punishment. So Muhammad said to the guy, do you know what is fitna? He said, no. He said, in al-fitna to shirk. Al-fitna is shirk. He said, those who don't obey the Messenger of Allah, they might fall into shirk eventually. Subhanallah. Right? But he's going to now break it down here. He said, Allah said that the wealth and the children are a test and trial from Allah Azza wa Jal. Right? So that He knows those who obey Him and those who disobey Him. So it's a trial. So fitna, the word fitna here means what? Trial, right? Let me just break it down for you. The word fitna comes from where? Linguistically. Linguistically, they say just another word, fatana. Fatana. Fatana comes from the word, they actually used to use this word, the blacksmith. The blacksmith, you know the blacksmith? You know this profession? Okay. The blacksmith actually, when he, and goldsmith, and also goldsmith, right? So especially goldsmith, when he wanna test his gold and purify it, he would actually get the gold and he will put it where? There you go. Where? Again? Fire. He would do what? He would burn the gold, burn it. Why? To filter it and purify it. Because gold might be mixed with other metals, which are not gold, right? Copper or whatever, right? So he would actually burn it, and then the gold would be so pure. So pure, right? Huh? So, this is actually the linguistic, the origin of the word fitna. When you are actually subjected to situations that burn you out, that actually take the best of you, gain the best of you. Hard situations will make you bitter, right? Because you struggle and you strive, you're not living in your comfort zone, right? No, you're actually going through these hardships and these difficulties, and you resist. So you take one chance to resist, and then after you finish, they said Ahmad ibn Hanbal rahimahullah, after he came out of his jail, why did he actually was jailed? Why was he jailed? Because he insisted on the statement of the truth by saying the Quran is the word of Allah, which was not created. Quran غير مخلوق, كلام Allah. And they pushed it. They were trying to tell him, "Oh Ahmad, oh Imam," he was a great scholar, right? Say Quran is makhluq. They said, "No, Quran is not makhluq. Astaghfirullah. Quran is the word of Allah, and word of Allah, one of His attributes, and is not created because Allah is not created." Right? And he insisted on that. And they actually not only put him in jail, they tortured him. They lashed him. Subhanallah. And eventually, after years, he got released. And this guy said, خرج الإمام أحمد. After he released, I can imagine. From this moment, he released, he became Imam Ahmad. Became Imam Ahmad. And you have seen, you can imagine these students from the globe. They went to kiss his feet. Right? He said, خرج الإمام أحمد من السجن كالذهب الأحمر. He came out from his prison like the red gold. The red gold? The most expensive gold, by the way. The red gold. Red gold. Not the yellow gold, the red gold. Like pure. Yeah, not 99% the carat. Not the carat sometimes say, no, the carat is just 120. Yeah. Gold. Huh? Subhanallah. So this is word fitna. So fitna is a test, a trial. So if you actually succeed to pass this test, after that you will be given great reward. And listen to the verse here, you will know now. إنما أموالكم وأولادكم فتنة والله عنده أجر عظيم. So you pass this test, the test of your kids, you pass the test, the trial of your wealth, you will receive the great reward from Allah Azza wa Jalla. But you need to pass the fitna. Pass it, but don't succumb to it. So two things. We have to pass the fitna. Pass means what? Means don't allow the fitna to break you. Don't allow the fitna to break you. Right? No. Or to decrease your iman. No. But you have to go above it. Right? Go above the fitna and break it. So that's why Allah said in the Quran, just to finish this last ayah, inshallah. Allah said, زُيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ حُبُّ الشَّهَوَاتِ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ وَالْبَنِينَ. Beautified for men. Look, beautified for men. What was beautified for men? Okay, it's the love of things that they covet. Not to covet something, to adore it, right? To covet something, to love it too much, right? He said, women, children, and قناطير المقنطرة. قناطير المقنطرة means what? Means the gold and the actually things which are gold and silver, right? قناطير المقنطرة, a huge amount of gold and silver, right? People like that. Branded beautiful horses, like now Lamborghini or Ferrari, right? So beautiful horses are beautified to people, right? To men. Cattle, cows, and all of this. Well titled land, right? And Allah said, this is the pleasure of this present world life, but Allah had the excellent return with him, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imam Ahmad, rahimahullah, recorded that Buraidah said, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu was given a speech, was giving a speech, and Al-Hasan wal Hussein came in wearing red shirts. Hassan al-Hussein, he was giving on the member speech, right? Khutbah. Hassan al-Hussein were like little kids, right? And they were wearing red shirts. Can boys wear red? Yes, they can wear red, no problem. Red color, yeah. Huh? And the Prophet also himself, one day he wore a red garment. They were wearing red shirts, walking and tripping. It was like a little bit maybe long. And the Messenger of Allah descended from the member. What did he do? He descended, he came out of the member. He was there. So Imam can do that? Yes. If something happens, Imam can get down and do something in the member? Yes. Khutbah will be, yeah, he can do that. And did what? And held them. He held them, sallallahu, and placed them in front, and he placed them in front of him and said, صدق الله ورسوله إنما أموالكم وأولادكم فتنة نظرت إلى هذين الصبيين يمشيان ويعثران فلم أصبر حتى قطعت حديثي ورفعتهما. He said, Allah and His Messenger said the truth. Verily, your wealth and your children are a fitna. I saw these two boys walking and tripping, and I couldn't be patient until I stopped my speech and picked them up. He loved them, right? This was recorded by the Sunan compilers and Tirmidhi, right? So that's what Allah said, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ وَاسْمَعُوا وَأَطِيعُوا. So fear Allah as much as you can. We need to elaborate on this actually next time, but again, we understood now the greatest fitna is to be distracted from Allah and His Messenger, right? And the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as those Sahaba faced at the beginning of Islam, and they didn't migrate to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah said, you have to, if you want to understand the word, read it in the context. Don't take the word out of its context. The context means what? The fitna here means what? Your wealth can be for you or against you. Right? So word fitna, it's not all the time means something bad. No. The word fitna is a test, a trial. You can, if you pass it, you'll be like red gold. Right? If you pass it, you'll be like red gold. If you don't pass it, now you fall into the fitna. Yeah? سَأَلَ فِي الْفِتْنَةِ سَقَطُوا. They have fell into the fitna. So the fitna itself is a test, a trial. Right? It actually gives you a chance either to go somewhere good or go to some where which is not good, right? So we ask Allah Azza to, but al-qabr, azab al-qabr is what? Fitna, right? Fitna. We ask Allah every day to do it, and the salah every time. Allah na'udhu kana azab al-qabr wa min fitnati al-masih al-dajjal, and the test of al-masih al-dajjal, right? So we ask Allah Azza to save us from this fitna. We ask Allah Azza to give us a strong iman, inshallah. Let's read together these two ayat from the verse number 13. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان verse number 14. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إن من أزواجكم وأولادكم عدوا لكم فاحذروهم وإن تعفوا وتصفحوا وتغفروا فإن الله غفور رحيم. إنما أموالكم وأولادكم فتنة والله عنده أجر عظيم. فاتقوا الله ما استطعتم واسمعوا وأطيعوا وأنفقوا خيرا لأنفسكم ومن يوق شح نفسه فأولئك هم المفلحون. So just the last verse we haven't finished yet, but the last verse mentioned that what should I do to avoid fitna? Obey Allah and obey His Messenger. So if you obey Allah and His Messenger, you would avoid the bad fitna, right? And you would actually be safe. You would be safe. If you obey Allah and His Messenger, you will be safe, regardless what might happen. And people sometimes they can view something as a fitna, right? They say, what? Yani if I don't buy a house, right, there's going to be a fitna for me, which is not a fitna for him. He actually can view as a fitna, but it's not fitna. It's not fitna, right? Because he's going to now fall into haram. So what is a fitna is to fall into haram. But if you avoid haram, there's no fitna. If you actually try to go against the haram, this is not going to be a bad fitna. This is something we have to do. So the word fitna has to be defined according to Allah and His Messenger, not according to us. And we cannot actually define the word fitna based on what we view, right? So no, the fitna has to be defined by Allah and His Messenger, and the fitna is to fall into the haram. We ask Allah to save us from any haram. Allahumma ameen. Jazakumullahu khairan. Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka.